Good morning, all of you. So, today we are going to start your next topic, that is 1.1, the idea of Satyagraha. We have already read in the previous video that Mahatma Gandhi came with a new concept of revolt that was based on non-violence. It was not something where violence was involved, but it was completely based on non-violence. Okay, so he started with Satyagraha. Now you'll come to know what was the idea of Satyagraha. क्या करते थे लोग, कैसे लोग सत्याग्रह को डेमोन्स्ट्रेट करते थे, हाउ पीपल बिकेम सत्याग्रहीज एंड व्हाट वर द कन्विंसिंग वेज दैट महात्मा गांधी सेड दैट इन्फ्लुएंस्ड पीपल टू ड्रॉप वायलेंस एंड टर्न टू नॉन वायलेंस. लेट अस स्टार्ट. Mahatma Gandhi returned to India in January 1915. As you know, he had come from South Africa, where he had successfully fought the racial regime with noble method of mass agitation. So if you remember, I've said in the last video also that Mahatma Gandhi had already successfully fought such kind of discrimination in South Africa. So in 1915, he got back to India after fighting a war, or you can say a peaceful war in South Africa. If you remember that he was thrown out of the running train despite having the first class ticket. He was not permitted to sit because in Western countries, people, they follow racial discrimination, popularly called as apartheid, where the people who have fair skin, they are treated as the supreme race. Okay, and since Mahatma Gandhi was of the darker race, he was discriminated. He was asked to leave the compartment where he disagreed, and out of anger, the South African whites, what they did was they pushed him out of the running train. So there also he had helped the blacks to fight against this discrimination. After a successful fight in South Africa, he got back to India in 1915, which he called Satyagraha. So this mass agitation, what did he call? Satyagraha. Satyagraha. Satya ke liye agra. Agra is request. Okay, so fight for truth with non-violent methods. Okay. The idea of Satyagraha emphasizes the power of truth and need to search for truth. So what is the idea of Satyagraha? What is the idea behind? What does it focuses on? It focuses on power of truth and need to search for truth. Okay, power of truth, that if you are, like you must have heard in Hindi, saach ko aach nahi. Okay, that if you are true, if you are correct, maybe people who are against you for time being, they'll be convinced by somebody who's telling lies. But ultimately there will be a time when truth will be known to the people and things will be in your favor. Okay, then he emphasized on need to search for truth. Do not believe on anything that is said to you. Rather, go and search for truth. Now, the idea it suggested that if the cause was true, if the struggle was against injustice, then physical force was not necessary to fight the oppressors. So what did he focused on? That if you are fighting with a true cause, अगर आपका तरीका सही है, अगर आप सही चीज के लिए लड़ रहे हो, सही बात के लिए लड़ रहे हो, you do not require any weapon in it. You do not require physical force. You do not need to involve into any kind of violence, despite if your cause is true and if you are fighting with a true method. अगर आप सच के साथ हैं, सच्चाई से लड़ रहे हैं, सच के लिए लड़ रहे हैं, तो आपको किसी भी वेपन की जरूरत नहीं है. विदाउट सीकिंग vengeance और being aggressive. Vengeance बिना किसी के लिए हार्ट में नेगेटिव फीलिंग रखे हुए, या बिना किसी के कोई भी अग्रेसिव फीलिंग रखे हुए, स्टिल यू कैन फाइट द वॉर. आप फिर भी वॉर फाइट कर सकते हैं. बीइंग अग्रेसिव, अ सत्याग्रही कुड विन द बैटल थ्रू नॉन वायलेंस. This could be done by appealing to the conscience of the oppressor. ठीक है, आप कैसे लड़ सकते हैं? आप अगर एक ट्रू सत्याग्रही हैं तो आप बैटल जो है वो नॉन वायलेंस से करेंगे, और आप फोकस करेंगे कि जो भी आपके अगेंस्ट है उसकी अपने अंदर से, उसके अपना कॉन्साइंस उसे ये गलत करने से रोके. इफ यू रिमेंबर, आई विल गिव यू अ वेरी रीसेंट एग्जांपल, थिंग्स विल बी वेरी क्लियर टू यू. आपने एक मूवी देखी होगी, मुन्ना भाई MBBS. इन दैट movie, I think Lage Raho Munna Bhai, I exactly don't remember it, you know it well. In that, how with the if you remember that, how Mahatma Gandhi taught that, if somebody is hurling abuses on you, if somebody is hurting you, you just need to smile. There will be a time when, people, the person who is doing wrong to you, himself or herself will start feeling bad about it. Okay, so that is the best thing about Satyagraha. You don't need to be aggressive, you don't need to show your anger, but with your peace, with calm, you can win the battle. Now, this could be done by appealing to the conscience of the oppressors. People, including the oppressor, had to be persuaded to see the truth instead of being forced to accept truth through the use of violence. So, what he felt, what he suggested people that, जो भी आपके अगेंस्ट है उसे आप सच्चाई दिखाइए, उसे बताइए कि गलत क्या है, rather than forcing them, किसी को फोर्स ना करके कि यही सच है आप इसी को मानो. Rather than doing that, help them to experience the truth, help them to listen to their inner conscience. Okay, so all this was method of Mahatma Gandhi. By this struggle, truth was bound to ultimately triumph. Mahatma Gandhi believed that this dharma of non-violence could unite all Indians. So what he felt that अगर आप सच के साथ हैं, सच के लिए लड़ रहे हैं, तो डेफिनेटली ट्रूथ विल ट्रायम्फ. ऑब्वियसली सच की जीत होती है, किसी भी लड़ाई में सच की ही जीत होती है, वैसे ही सच की जीत होगी. एंड महात्मा गांधी बिलीव दैट धर्म ऑफ नॉन वायलेंस कुड यूनाइट ऑल पीपल. अगर हम सारे लोग नॉन वायलेंट तरीके से रहेंगे तो बहुत जल्दी ये लोगों को यूनाइट भी कर देगा. एंड टू फाइट एनी बैटल इट्स वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू यूनाइट पीपल. अगेन आई रिपीट, यूनिटी लाइज इन स्ट्रेंथ लाइज इन यूनिटी. ओके, अगर आप यूनाइटेड हैं तो ही आप में स्ट्रेंथ है. एक पर्सन बैटल नहीं जीत पाता. अगर ऐसा हो पाता तो हमारी इंडिया जो है वो 1857 में ही इंडिपेंडेंट हो गई होती, जब बैरकपुर रिवोल्ट हुआ था. फर्स्ट वॉर ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंस स्टार्टेड बाय मंगल पांडे, बट ड्यू टू लैक ऑफ यूनिटी दैट वाज नॉट अ सक्सेसफुल बैटल. सो महात्मा गांधी रियलाइज दैट इट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू यूनाइट पीपल टू फाइट अ बैटल. नाउ, after arriving in India, Mahatma Gandhi successfully organized Satyagraha movements in various places. जब वो इंडिया में आए 1915 में, आफ्टर दैट ईयर हर साल उन्होंने कहीं ना कहीं एक छोटी सत्याग्रह मूवमेंट ऑर्गेनाइज की. नाउ लेट अस सी. इन 1916 he traveled to Champaran in Bihar to inspire the peasants to struggle against the oppressive plantation system. So in 1916 he traveled where? He traveled to Champaran. वहां पे उन्होंने peasants को इंस्पायर किया, उन्हें पीजेंट्स को अवेयर किया दैट आप जो ऑपरेसिव प्लांटेशन सिस्टम के लिए वर्क कर रहे हैं, फोर्सफुली वहां पे ब्रिटिशर्स जो थे वो इंडिगो प्लांट कराते थे. इंडिगो ब्लू डाई होती है, नील जिसे आप कॉमनली कहते हैं. सो वंस इंडिगो इज ग्रोन ऑन अ पैच ऑफ लैंड, द लैंड बिकम्स बैरन. So what he awared people that it is okay to grow, but do not grow because somebody is forcing you to grow. So he helped there, and that was called as Champaran Satyagraha in 1916. Then in 1917, he organized a Satyagraha to support the peasants of Kheda district of Gujarat, affected by crop failure and plague epidemic. The peasants of Kheda could not pay the revenue and were demanding the revenue collection to be relaxed. So in 1917, what happened? What did he do? He went to Kheda district of Gujarat. Their peasants were worstly affected by crop failure. Crop fail हो चुकी थी और plague की epidemic थी. Plague एक disease है जो कि generally rats से spread होती है. It is also called as bubonic plague. ठीक है, rats से spread होती है. So इसकी वजह से एक तो लोगों के पास खाने को नहीं था. अगर खाने को नहीं होगी, आपकी बॉडी की इम्यूनिटी weak होगी. If your body immunity is weak, definitely you will be attacked by various diseases. Like now, you must be hearing ना कि कोरोना के टाइम ये खा लो, वो गर्म पानी पियो, हल्दी खाओ. This is all to boost your immunity. When your immunity is strong, you will not be affected by disease very. मतलब I mean to say that you will not be very vulnerable to disease. ठीक है. मेरा मतलब यही है कि आप बहुत क्लोज नहीं रहेंगे किसी डिजीज के अटैक से. योर बॉडी विल बी देयर टू प्रोटेक्ट यू. आपकी इम्यूनिटी सिस्टम जो है वो प्रोटेक्ट करेगी. सो इन खेड़ा डिस्ट्रिक्ट व्हाट हैपेंड दैट पीपल डिड नॉट हैव एम्पल टू ईट. ना उनके पास बहुत खाने को था. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट दे वर इफेक्टेड बाय प्लेग एंड दे वर डिमांडिंग फॉर रिलैक्सेशन इन रेवेन्यू कलेक्शन. वो चाहते थे कि उस साल का जो टैक्स कलेक्शन है, रेवेन्यू कलेक्शन है, उसे माफ कर दिया जाए. सो देयर ही वेंट इन खेड़ा डिस्ट्रिक्ट एंड महात्मा गांधी ऑर्गेनाइज्ड अनदर सत्याग्रह ओवर देयर. 1918, Mahatma Gandhi went to Ahmedabad to organize a satyagraha movement amongst the cotton mill workers. So cotton mill workers Ahmedabad में, again I've said you, Ahmedabad गुजरात पहला जगह था. सूरत पहली जगह थी जहाँ कॉटन टेक्सटाइल ब्रिटिशर्स ने स्टैब्लिश किया था. So till today Gujarat is known for its cotton textile. So there what they used to do, Britishers used to do, वो लोगों से, वर्कर्स से एक्स्ट्रा काम कराते थे. उन्हें वेजेस कम देते थे और एक्स्ट्रा काम कराते थे. सो फॉर दैट व्हाट डिड महात्मा गांधी डू? ही वेंट टू अहमदाबाद एंड ऑर्गेनाइज्ड अ सत्याग्रह ओवर देयर to help the cotton mill workers. So if you see the chronology, in 1915 he got back to India. In 1916 Champaran Satyagraha, in 1917 Kheda Satyagraha, and in 1918 Ahmedabad Satyagraha. Okay, so repeatedly हर साल एक सत्याग्रह ऑर्गेनाइज हुई है. नाउ 1918 इज द नेक्स्ट ईयर एंड 1918 इज अ वेरी नोटिफाइंग ईयर इन हिस्ट्री ऑफ इंडिया, क्योंकि इस साल एक ऐसी ब्लैक इंसिडेंस हुई थी दैट मार्क द, यू कैन से दैट शुक द फाउंडेशन ऑफ ब्रिटिश रूल इन इंडिया. इन 1919 रॉलेट एक्ट आई थी, जालियांवाला बाग इंसिडेंस हुआ था एंड गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया एक्ट आई थी. ठीक है. नाउ व्हाट वाज रॉलेट एक्ट? आई विल टेल यू. नेक्स्ट टॉपिक भी आपकी रॉलेट एक्ट है. रॉलेट एक्ट एक ऐसी एक्ट थी जिसके हिसाब से दैट गेव एन अल्टीमेट पावर टू द ब्रिटिशर्स. ठीक है. ब्रिटिशर्स कुड अरेस्ट एनीबडी विदाउट वारंट एंड कुड पुट देम इन जेल विदाउट एनी ट्रायल. ठीक है. एक ये ऐसी एक्ट थी जिसमें ब्रिटिश को अल्टीमेट अथॉरिटी दे दी गई थी टू डिस्प्ले देयर क्रूएलिटी टुवर्ड्स Indians. Okay. Then the Jallianwala Bagh incidents took place in the same year, in 1919, where thousands of people were killed in this incidents in Jallianwala Bagh, Amritsar. Then 1919 again Government of India Act took place. Government of India Act क्या होती थी? हर 10 साल पे एक Government of India Act आती थी जिसके अनुसार यहाँ पे जो रनिंग कंडीशन है इंडिया की वो रिपोर्ट की जाती थी ब्रिटेन में. Okay, so people were against this act also. So that will be reading now. Now let us read the Rowlatt Act. Emboldened with this success, Gandhiji in 1919 decided to launch a nationwide satyagraha against the proposed Rowlatt Act. So now when Mahatma Gandhi came to India, 1915 में वो आए, 16, 17, 18 सारे सालों में उन्होंने कहीं ना कहीं सत्याग्रह ऑर्गेनाइज किया and all these satyagrahs was very famous. So what he decided that now in 1919 he decided to launch a nationwide satyagraha. अभी तक जो वो सत्याग्रह करा रहे थे, अगर वो चंपारण में कराया, अगर उन्होंने खेड़ा में कराया या अगर उन्होंने अहमदाबाद में कराया, वो एक पर्टिकुलर ग्रुप के लिए थी. ठीक है. कहीं पे उन्होंने कॉटन मिल वर्कर्स के लिए कराए, कहीं पे पीजेंट्स के लिए कराए, कहीं पे प्लांटेशन वर्कर्स के लिए कराया. बट नाउ ही वांटेड टू यूनाइट एंटायर कंट्री. ही वांटेड टू ब्रिंग एवरीबडी टुगेदर दैट रादर देन फाइटिंग फॉर योर सेल्फ मोटिव, इंडिया शुड फाइट कलेक्टिवली फॉर इट्स कंट्री. इंडिया अब जितने भी इंडियंस हैं वो कलेक्टिवली एक आइडेंटिटी की तरह अपने इंडियन होने की आइडेंटिटी को समझे और इंडिया के लिए फाइट करे. अपने पर्सनल नीड या अपने पर्सनल गोल्स के लिए ना फाइट करके वो इंडिया के लिए फाइट करे. सो इन 1919 ही लॉन्च्ड अ नेशन वाइड सत्याग्रह टू अपोज रॉलेट एक्ट. This act has been hurriedly passed through the Imperial Legislative Council despite the united opposition of Indian members. It gave the government enormous power to repress political activities and allow detention of political prisoners without trial for 2 years. So what happened? What was in this act? ये Rowlatt Act जो थी वो बहुत ही hurriedly pass की गई थी. It was hurriedly passed. Secondly, it was being opposed. It had been opposed by the Indian politicians at that time. It was opposed by Congress, but still it was hurriedly passed. And what was the disadvantage of this act? That it gave enormous power to the Britishers. ब्रिटिशर्स को उन्होंने इस एक्ट ने इनॉर्मस पावर दे दिया था. Sorry, after this, now after the Rowlatt Act, any political prisoner, anybody who was involved in politics or who was seen as somebody influencing the people, could be put into the jail and without any trial could be imprisoned for 2 years. Okay. Now, Mahatma Gandhi wanted non-violence, civil disobedience against such unjust law, which could start with the Hartal on 6th April. So now what happened? Mahatma Gandhi wanted non-violence, civil disobedience. Non-violence matlab jahan pe violence involved na ho, and civil disobedience. Civil means people, common log, and disobedience means going against the Britishers. So what he wanted the masses, the common people, to go against the Britishers in a non-violent method. ठीक है? Have you understood? So what did he do? He started with Hartal, and that Hartal मतलब सब कुछ बंद. इंडियंस जो हैं वो ब्रिटिशर्स को हेल्प नहीं करेंगे by any means, and that Hartal started on 6th April. Rallies were organized in various cities. Workers went on strike in railway workshops. Shops closed down. Alarmed by the popular upsurge, the sacred and scared that lines of communication such as railways and telegram would be disturbed, the British administration decided to clamp down on nationalists. Local leaders were picked up from Amritsar. Mahatma Gandhi was banned from entering Delhi. So now what happened? Now British had come to know one thing, that now this uprising was not for their personal need. पहले Britishers क्या करते थे? That like plantation workers have gone on strike or have gone on Satyagraha, उनकी छोटी-छोटी demands fulfill कर देते. They would be happy. Now Britishers had come to know that they were not fighting for their personal aims or personal goals. They were fighting collectively for their country. Okay. So now British also showed their true colors. They started arresting जितने भी popular leaders थे, उन्हें वो arrest उन्होंने कर दिया, and महात्मा गांधी को दिल्ली में entry ban कर दी, because Delhi was the center. They felt कि अगर महात्मा गांधी दिल्ली enter कर जाते हैं, दिल्ली से अगर वो लोगों को inspire करते हैं, then entire country will be convinced. इसलिए दिल्ली में उनकी entry बंद करा दी गई, and leaders were jailed, leaders were arrested, because किसी भी मूवमेंट में अगर लीडर है तो ही उस मूवमेंट का डायरेक्शन है. अगर लीडर नहीं है, पीपल विल लूज देयर डायरेक्शन. एंड सेकेंडली दे स्टार्ट फीलिंग दिस, दैट अगर लीडर ही अरेस्ट हो गया तो हम तो आराम से अरेस्ट हो जाएंगे. सो टू टीच पीपल दिस लेसन, दे स्टार्टेड अरेस्टिंग द पॉपुलर लीडर्स. On 10th April, the police in Amritsar fired upon a peaceful procession, provoking worldwide attack on banks, post offices and railway station. Martial law was imposed and General Dyer took command. So now what happened? So martial law was imposed. Martial law imposed कर दिया गया. That means अब कोई भी लोग कहीं भी public meetings नहीं कर सकते. और in a way एक curfew like situation ला दी गई, that nobody is allowed to move out. और सिंस महात्मा गांधी पे बैन लगा था, 10th अप्रैल को लोगों ने क्या किया? दे अटैक द पोस्ट ऑफिस, बैंक्स, और ये सब इसलिए हुआ बिकॉज 10th अप्रैल को अमृतसर में पीसफुल प्रोसेशन, लोग पीसफुली जा रहे थे, पीसफुली अपनी डिमांड्स को पुट अप कर रहे थे, बट ब्रिटिशर्स दे फायर्ड अपॉन द पीपल. उन्होंने ब्रिटिशर्स ने वायलेंस दिखाई. इसके वजह से इंडियंस व्हाट दे स्टार्टेड, दे रिटेलिएटेड इन द सेम मैनर. उन्होंने सेम मैनर में रिएक्ट किया एंड दे ब्रोक बैंक्स, post offices, railway station. That means they started breaking the public property. Okay. And martial law was imposed and General Dyer took command. General Dyer is another very important, or you can say a significant feature, significant person in behind the Jallianwala Bagh incidents. So your Jallianwala Bagh incidents I'll be sending in the next video, and all the questions that you will be receiving with the video. It is very, very important for you to do that. Apart from that, there is an activity over here. If you see, read the text carefully. What did Mahatma Gandhi mean when he said Satyagraha is active resistance? ओके, सो व्हाट डिड ही से मीन? जब महात्मा गांधी ने बोला था, यहाँ पे एक आपकी ये पैराग्राफ दी गई है विच यू हैव टू रीड. ओके, it is said of passive resistance, that is the weapon of the weak, but the power which is the subject of this article can be used only by strong. This power is not passive resistance, indeed it calls for intense activity. The movement in South Africa was not passive but active. Satyagraha is not physical force. A satyagrahi does not inflict pain on the adversary. He does not seek his destruction. In the use of Satyagraha, there is no ill will whatever. Satyagraha is pure soul force. Truth is where substance of the soul. Truth is the very substance of the soul. That is why this force is called Satyagraha. The soul is informed with knowledge. In it burns the flame of love. Non-violence is the supreme dharma. It is certain that India cannot cannot rival British or Europe in force of arm. The British worship the war god, and they can all of them become as they are becoming bearers of arms. The hundreds of millions in India can never carry arms. They have made the religion of non-violence their own. So what did he say? Mahatma Gandhi, this was what Mahatma Gandhi himself said on Satyagraha. लोग पहले ऐसा मानते थे that सत्याग्रह जो है वो कायर लोग करते हैं, वीक लोग करते हैं, जो कमजोर है, जो लड़ नहीं पाता वो सत्याग्रह करता है. Wrong. He said that it is not passive resistance, it is an active resistance. कोई सामने से आपको अब्यूज कर रहा है और उस मोमेंट खड़े होकर मार देना is easy, but maintaining your peace, maintaining your calm is more difficult. Okay, so a satyagrahi is somebody who is trained with such kind of perception, जो इतना strong होता है कि वो अपने emotions को control कर पाए. To show love is easy, to show love is difficult, but to show anger is easy. Okay. So this question you will be doing. Read the text carefully. I have already read it out for you. What did Mahatma Gandhi mean when he said Satyagraha is active resistance? So this question you will be doing. And apart from that, there is a question, a new word, force recruitment. That also you will do. So this was all about the video. So we'll continue with next topic, that is the Jallianwala Bagh incidents in your next video. Thank you.